Good morning. The land or the earth is collective. All people walk on the same planet. When we leave this world, there is another land where everybody will be walking on his own land. It's a collective land, but it is a personal, individual land. The word substratum means the underlying layer, the most important substance that is below the ground or lifting something from below, which is the earth, substratum. What is the substratum in the land of resurrection? For some people, perhaps minority. This is a very important point. I like to hear this. For others, it's a sort of like a fairy tale, maybe. They don't pay attention to it. Anyhow, the land of resurrection is the responsibility of each person in this world to prepare it. How to prepare it? It's a very good question. We walk on the ground, we think we walk on the ground. This is solid. The matter is solid. We don't need to go into like some religious explanations, whatever. This matter that we are walking on has been proved by science, recent science, quantum mechanics, quantum physics. These rock that we might think earlier that it is the world of like dormant, quiescent, as not, it's immobile, doesn't move. It's not like that. The atom that we thought probably during the Newtonian era that was a dormant is a kind of world, doesn't move. The last element indivisible. Last like a bull, baseball ball, the last one, is no longer we can. That's what is matter, is composed of these atoms. Recent science has proved that this atom itself, when you put it under very sophisticated microscopes, it is itself divided into other particles and non-particles. Some they identify some, but still anyway, whether something is very weird about it, strange, is these particles are moving, sometimes like straight lines, sometimes in a curve, but what is really strange is where is leading up to, what is the final destination? It's unknown, as they call it in quantum physics, they call it the gluon. But anyway, this is something collective. It was meant for preparation. So we walk on a solid, and no, it's not solid at the same time. Today, we are controlled by the gravity. Any action we accomplish is we are controlled by the gravity. Let's just give a small example. Consider myself, I am like skydiving in a free fall, and I have in my hand a free weight or a bar like this. I want to exercise, to do any kind of action, to accomplish any kind of action. Will I be able to accomplish such an action under with this situation, being in a free fall? No, I can't. Another example, I'm swimming in a deep swimming pool where I don't touch the ground, I'm far from the ground up. Will I be able to do such an action or to accomplish such an action? No, I can't. Why? Because I need a platform, I need a base or a trampoline on which I have to stand. In other words, you lift it, follow the arrow. The action goes from my arm, from my hand to my arm, to my chest, my shoulder, chest, then my legs, and my touches my feet, standpoint. It rebounds, it goes back, comes back to my biceps, and it gets contracted. So every action, you accomplish an action, you need a standpoint. Could possibly this standpoint or this vertical line that we call center of gravity could it possibly be shared with someone else? No, it's impossible. Everybody has his own center of gravity. Giving this example, for instance, I'm standing here, this is my standpoint here. Center of gravity is the center that is maintaining my balance. If I move a little bit, I might probably be inclined, I fall, my center of gravity is no longer here, it's going to be here. As you can see, another person is here, cannot be shared. It shows you that each person is responsible. I'm talking about the physical action. It's the same thing is each person is responsible for his intention. Getting back to the psychic action called intention, his time, the other person's time different. The fruitful intention is yours. When it is with the person from another person, it's a borrowed intention, it's not yours. So everybody has his own action. This is a physical action. Psychic action is the same thing. Now, getting back to the substratum. The person, you ask a person, how did you jump? How did you accomplish this action? He tells you, because of my quadriceps. I counted on my quadriceps. Because of my quadriceps, a grace, thanks to my quadriceps, in the name of my quadriceps, lower back, uterus, muscles. This is what the action says. Another action says, no, you couldn't have done that if there hadn't been a platform. So the platform is the most important substratum or layer that supported you from below. Otherwise, you won't be able to do it. So each one claims something. Leave this aside. In the Quran, every verse starts, everybody knows this, starts with, in the name of God, the gracious, the merciful. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. A translation is not entirely correct, by the way. In order to translate it, it's not just word per word. You have to live the language. Everybody knows this. You can speak a language, but to live the language as something different. In Arabic, when you say Bismi, translation is in a name. When you say in the name of God, you are talking, you say, I did it, I finished the action. I did it in the name of a proxy, by proxy. I did it on behalf of. So when you say in a name, there is always sort of distance. Distance, talking about segment, distance, and there is also a segment of time. From the time I did it and I say, because of him, because of God, I wanted to satisfy God. It's as like this. When in fact, the meaning of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, it's not like that. When you live the language, as I keep repeating this, it's a response to questions that are popping up, uncountable number of questions that are popping up to this person's conscience. Unanswered questions. They are popping up. How many? Billions of questions. They pop up to the surface of the conscience. What are those questions? When you said earlier, you said, I counted on my quadriceps to stand, to accomplish that action. The response comes to you whispering in your mind, no. By the name of God, in the name of God, so Bismillah. You're looking at the sun, my God, the sun is shining today, and I got like vitamin D, and this plant is telling you chlorophyll, and I got a tan, I went like to the beach, I got it. And then the whispering voice say, no, it's in the name of God that the sun is shining. It's in the name of God the sun is sending those rays like vitamin D, whatever. It's in the name of God the rivers are flowing. In the name of God, the ocean is glass. In the name of God, that the motor is moving. This is the response all the time. For those God that are, we call them friends of God, they hear it. Don't be surprised. Like us, blinded by nature, occupied, preoccupied by this material world, how can I hear material, the whispering voice that comes from nowhere? It doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from everywhere, from the subcortical region of the brain, inside. Those, as I say, the friends of God, we call them awliya, they hear it. So that's why they are not blinded by nature. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is, everything is a kind of telling a person, don't claim it, it's not yours. Don't claim nature, don't claim it. Everything is done in the name of God. ما تسقط من ورقة. Look at the verse here. ما تسقط من ورقة إلا يعلمها. That's one leaf from the trees, the leaves, it falls, it's God's, knows about it. ولا حبة, in the grain. في ظلمات البر والبحر. In the darkness, it's like in a solid in a place, is like where? On earth or in the sea. Everything is in detail, is in God's, doesn't move. One atom is only with God's willpower. God's will, we don't say willpower, this is not correct word, it's God's will. Nothing is done like this. So whatever the person does is Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now, the whole Quran, in every chapter you start, there is something that is preceding Bismillah. It's the beginning of the chapter, but it is something, as I said, unanswered question during a day. What is this? What is this world? What is this God? These galaxies? What is this brain? Inside the brain, what do we, all these questions that we are blinded by. I show him the moon is looking at my finger. There is Bismillah ar-Rahman is telling you it's in the name of God, the gracious, the merciful. And he used the word gracious, merciful. What grace was it? He gave with mercy. But we don't hear that. We are preoccupied by scientific evidence. What is the B? In Arabic there is a letter B that starts with. The only chapter that was revealed without Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, it is the chapter of repentance, Surat Tawbah. It is called also Surat Bara'a. Is itself starts with the letter B. Do you know what does it mean, Bara'a? I release my responsibility. Is itself the same thing. For those who claim, for those, I release my responsibility. It's a disclaimer. Listen, if any consequences are going to happen because of people's pretense, because of people claim what they claim and they claim, please, I am not with them. Bara'atun min Allahi wa rasulih. I release my responsibility. I disclaim. It's a disclaimer. You will be on a safe side. That's itself, it starts with the B. Now, what is the letter B? It's a curve. It's a curve. What is this curve? This is your curve. This is your platform that you prepare. And there is below that, there is a dot. If you put the dot on the top, it's going to be noon. وَالْقَلَمِ وَمَا يَسْطُرُونَ. You put two dots, it's going to be ta, T. It's below. What is this platform? You remember when I said earlier about the substratum. Human being was meant to walk on the ground that is not solid anyway. He was meant to walk and to remain with these, as we call a person, down to earth. This is an administrative word. Humble. This is in work environment, say he's humble. the administrative, but its humility is touching the ground all the time, like the Messiah, the Messiah, Jesus Christ, peace be upon him. This is getting back not to be influenced, to be driven by the acquired. In our life, we acquire, we achieve certain things, a position at work, richness, anything. It's a position at work. We can work for government, army, ownership, piece of land. We can own a country. This is an acquired. You sit on it, it's an acquired, pay attention. You sit on it, it becomes your platform, your curve. You know what it does? It will send signals to your nervous system, to your conscience. It will direct the flow of your emotions. Your decisions will be based on these acquired. That's when you act and react in your life and you say, in the name of, you can do it. It gives you pictures, visualized pictures, holographic images based on this. You are projected in front of you and then you admire them. The circle will be sealed. I admire the self, admiring the self, and then I achieve, and it's a big achievement in my life, as you call it today. Very successful career. That's fine. The thing is between the two. One person, he has all of the above. He went back and he said, back to the first, he said, I release my responsibilities, not thanks to this, not in the name of this. It's everything, in the name of God. All of these, what happened to them? The previous case, the person whose signals were direct to the flow of his emotions, they became stagnant, static in front of him. The same thing, he was characterized by his ownership. The other one, he sent them back to the Creator. He said, thanks to God. Bismillah, Bismillah, Bismillah. Did they go to where? There. Where there? You remember when we gave the example about the standpoint. You lift, the object, the free weight, the action goes and rebound. Look at this action miniaturized in the back of your subconscious. That platform, you drop a piece like of rock, you drop it in the water. What does it leave? It leaves ripples. But you drop it on the piece of a rock. Another rock doesn't do anything. It hits the rock, it's just one. The one who is characterized by the acquired doesn't have an expansion. The one who is not characterized by the acquired, it will have an expansion constantly. Those undulations or ripples, they spawn not horizontally, they spawn much like a magma in the center of Earth, like this. All of these in the back of his subconscious. So getting back to the substratum. This substratum, what does it do? I said earlier, there is a curve. You're preparing it. The other one is traceable. It is fashioned. Talking the one who is characterized by the acquired. That's it. The other one, no. It is flowing, changing, in a state of metamorphosis. Now about the dot. The dot that is below. What is a dot? The world before the Big Bang, as they say, this is in science, and even the Quran is proving it as well. Not proving, science is proving it. That the world, the way it is today, million years ago, it was all in one single agglomeration. There was an explosion. Look at the way he said it. أَلَمْ يَرَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. Says the disbelievers. He's talking to the disbelievers. أَلَمْ يَرَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَنَّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ كَانَتَا رَتْقًا فَفَتَقْنَاهُمَا وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ. Don't they know, those disbelievers, that heaven and earth were all in a single agglomeration, and we tore them apart, and we made from water everything alive. وجعلنا من الماء كل شيء حي فلا يعقلون. So the person who's a single dot in the name of the B, it's below. It's the same thing, his expansion about what's going on in those galaxies, they are inside his psyche. Very rare people who are aware of this. But those, the winner, the victorious people, those of, they don't try to juxtapose logic in front of God. They just follow. If he asks you to do it, just do it spatially related to time. All these ibadat, adorations, they are related to time. Now, the land of resurrection. Between the time of the death and the time of resurrection, this is barzakh. We call it al-barzakh. Previous video I said, gave an example of the couple when they have that physical encounter, all they did is to please themselves and to have a sperm dropped in a woman's uterus. The big work, the big job, the composition, the biological composition, that's not theirs. That's God who did this. 9 months. What does it do? What does she do, the woman? She pushes the baby. Voluntarily and involuntarily. His biological composition is finished. This world is few minutes of sex. This world. The life of a human being is few minutes of that sex. 45 minutes. 1 hour. The time from his death to the land of resurrection, that's very hard. Nobody can speak about this. It was recorded that someone had slept, Uzair. Check it out in the Quran. When he opened his eyes, كم لبثت, he said يوما أو بعد يوم. I think it's a day. He thought he took a nap. It was 100 years. Ahl al-Kahf, those of the cave, 300 years-ish. The time differs from one person to another person who died 1,000 years ago. To the land of resurrection could be probably few minutes for him. The one before the end of the life, before the end of the world with the cataclysm, it is almost, as you can see, what's going on these days. It's each person differs. His time, he differs from one person to another. There is one thing that it is to emphasize is those who were doing, but they couldn't finish. But the effort was done. They will continue, their time will be extended up to the time where they develop what's supposed to be done. Once their composition, their spiritual composition is finished, the woman pushed the baby, the pregnant woman pushed the baby out. The land, the earth pushed the human being out to the land of resurrection. Then here he goes. It's very long analysis to speak about it. The only thing is the effort. The one was sincerely, I would like to do. He didn't have money. I would like to help. I would like all of these moral values. He will find them being accomplished. He will finish them smoothly. People are different. The land of resurrection doesn't exist, and it does exist. Are we contradicting God's words in the Quran? Astaghfirullah. So I'd say, يَوْمَ تُبَدَّلُ الْأَرْضُ غَيْرُ الْأَرْضِ وَالسَّمَاوَاتِ. The land will be changed, not this one. Straight, there is no piece of rock. There is no tree. There's nothing exposed there. It doesn't exist and it does exist. How can that be? The substratum that the person prepared for himself, he will stand on it there. Some people, they walk and they fall. Some people, they walk, they crawl. This is the degree of their faith. Some people, they walk in the darkness. They don't see anything. Others, like a candle, like a flicker, it turns on and off. Others, they are on that land. They fall with the free fall and screaming. This is the case of the hypocrite. One day like this, double face. Or probably it's not double today, you know what I'm saying? Today it's like the French people, it says 36 figures, 36 faces. Yeah. And this is what's making the world really chaotic. Not because people, they are, we say people are sinners. What is it, sin? It's between himself and I don't know. He wants to do something with himself. He's not bothering anybody. Or she's doing with herself, she's not bothering anybody. May the Lord open the door to them and prosperity and give us all guidance in this. But the hypocrite, no. Hypocrite is to interfere and to show, the face of, gentleness and creating chaos behind. So, as I said, everybody, today, I don't know if you have ever experienced something. The world is turning, crise épileptique, I don't know what they call it, but sometimes some people, they say, my God, I mean, they see it as a very, very painful if they see the world is turning, or even though the world is not turning. I'm talking about here in this. The physical body is stagnant, but the conscience is, they see the world, they cannot really maintain their equilibrium or their balance. Some people, they experience that there. I don't know if you have ever or heard, I met people out of research curiosity, take drugs, talking about narcotics. There are some narcotics, they make you feel like you are flying in the air, zero gravity. The person will cry, scream if he can get back to Earth. Just to walk on Earth, even though, bien que, he is on the land, but he feels his conscience is zero gravity. He feels, because the substances, they still in the body, in his conscience. Body start running out of those chemicals, and then he gets back, he feels it's like another landing. All of these, person will experience them in the land of resurrection. But those with the platform, they are not with people. The self-aggrandizing people, humiliating people, kings and dust, I'm talking about those who are not just, not because his king is bad. No. It's not because he's a governor, he's bad. No, if he's just, yeah, that's wonderful. Getting people, where is the substratum? There is no substratum. They walk like ants over there. People step on them, scream. Nobody can hear them. The story is very long. It's just we speak about. When I said earlier, one, you stand on the acquired. The acquired will send signals to the nervous system, pour le conscient, the conscience to decide. It was energized by the me. The same thing. Believer, non-believer, good or bad. This one did something, supposedly he thinks he's totally away from the Creator. The results will be something being materialized. Let's just say a tree. Let's say a chateau, a castle. This one was energized by God. His actions were energized by, there is no God, in the name of God. It remains because this is the eternity. The other one, he sees it, he's trying to touch it or to do it, it gets disintegrated. You know about the land of resurrection that the sun will be on people's heads. It's one sun. One experienced it on his head, another one 200 meters or above, another one 100 kilometers, another one doesn't feel it at all. One sun. How can that be? Everything has to do with the predisposed nature, how a person had prepared himself. Those who had, as I mentioned earlier, that curve, that in the name of God, Bismillah, Bismillah, the signals, they won't go to the nervous system, they go to the Arsh, to the throne of God. That's why they find themselves under the throne of God, تحت عرش الرحمن. You know, check it out, huh? It's very beautiful stories about this. They will be there at the same time. The whole billions and billions of people are experiencing misery over there standing. The time differs from one person to another. From the land of resurrection to the end, the final destination, there are 7 realms. Are not my topic. I mentioned them and I close. Lands of resurrection, the giving of the books, Ityan al-Kutub, archived all the life of each person. He will live it, see it. The balance. Actions will be weighed, materialized, seen in front of him, each person. The land of resurrection, Ityan al-Kutub, the books, the balance. Sirat, the path on hell. Al-A'raf, the heights. These are those whose actions were equal, good and bad. They stay in the middle. Al-A'raf. Paradise or hell, that's the 6th one, realm, al-Mawatin. And the 7th one is the slaughter of death. John the Baptist will come between the paradise and hell. The call will be for those of the paradise. Do you know what is this? They answer affirmatively. They know it. It's their virgin nature. The call will be the same thing in those of hell. Do you know what is this? They answer affirmatively. John the Baptist, may the peace of blessing of God on him, he slaughters death. They know that this is the eternity. For those who are there, they remain there forever. The others, they remain there forever. May the Lord take you all to his heaven and open every door, pathway towards heaven, inshallah. I see you soon.